Okay, so yeah, I think we're live. Just
Good day, everyone. Welcome.
yeah, yeah. Hi everyone. Today we're going to respond to a stream. Well, actually, respond to Nick Fuentes' appearance on the Blaze, as well as in particular his exchange with Sidney Watson. And we're joined here by Connor Says.
Hey, what's
You know,
up, lads? How are y'all?
yeah, we're great. Hopefully we'll be joined maybe by Toasted. He might have been confused with me when I said 1 p.m. BST. He might have confused it with Eastern time again. Yeah, time the time.
Yeah.
I forgot what's the international. What's that word again? Time lanes. Time.
GMT, I think, is the standard one.
Uh, yeah, he is the. Yeah, he has Eastern time, but anyway, I hope he joins. Oh wait, I need to wait. Wait, could you copy the? Actually, no. I'll send a link to him.
Oh, by the way, is swearing allowed? Just in this, or
Sure, but keep it a little minimal.
nah, it's fine. I won't swear then. I'll try my best not to swear.
Okay, yeah,
I don't know. I just have a thing of swearing when. Oh wait, I can send him the stream link. I think.
All right, yeah, all right. I found it.
Okay, I'll just post it on the Discord.
Yeah, I also posted it on his Twitter. So yeah, I guess yeah, you still see my screen, right?
Yeah, I can see it.
Okay, and if Toasted's in the stream, please tell me because I can only share what's on my screen right now, so I won't know if he's there.
Yeah, I'll check it.
Okay, so yeah, okay, we're.
I think I'll be able to see. I think I'll be able to see the backstage. I'm not entirely sure.
All right, good. Okay, so we'll start now.
All right.
Do you want to get married? Yeah, I want to get married, but more out of necessity of producing a male heir is really the whole point.
No, I'm just listening. I'm keeping going.
She's like, we can keep going.
Yeah,
I just want to clarify again that that's not really in Nick's control whether you can create males or not. I mean, you can theoretically reproduce enough until you create a male and you can fancy your chances. But yeah, it did just get. But what does it have to be a male though? What kind of heir? What do you need an heir? You're not like a kingdom or something. Are you trying to create a white supremacist circle jerk or something? And you want
I think I think Fuentes is legit joking here. He is far right, but not as far right as people make him out to be. But I mean, actually, he is.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even know.
Richard Spencer hates him, and he's willing to have black people in his movement. But yeah, it's weird. I'm pretty sure he's trying to use them. But yeah, anyway.
Nick Fuentes is fucking cringe, honestly.
Yeah, and also, and to anyone who unironically believe this, look up Henry VIII.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah.
I would prefer to get a handle on what you think from your mouth.
It's very Chinese of him, though. You know, just only men, so he doesn't want any female children. It's very Chinese.
Yeah, no, I think they're awake on this question. You know, I mean, as far as marriage
it's
goes,
more about population control there rather than,
well, and it's the old world stuff about a dowry and gendered stuff and all that. But at least for me, it's sort of a pride thing. I want to produce a male heir to take.
Oh my days, he's actually being unironic about this. I thought he was joking.
Dude,
I've already been debunked within the 1 minute.
Correct. By facts and logic by Nick Fuentes here, dude.
Yeah.
You mad lad.
Yeah.
Speaker of facts.
Yeah, the Fuentes fans actually has a decent reason to comment. I haven't seen this. I've only seen the first 15 seconds of this vid. So
I've seen I think maybe 15-ish minutes of this. So
yeah,
it'll be interesting to see how this goes.
Right, so we actually have to respond to his point now.
Yeah,
well, actually, we'll let him
I don't think he's not saying anything intellectually groundbreaking. Most of it's pretty sexist, very sexist. There's gonna be a really there's gonna be a hooter of a moment sometime soon. Just play. Let's see his point.
Take on my name, take on my legacy, and all that. And marriage is sort of pursuant to that goal. But I don't know about this whole prospect of like living with a woman for the rest of my life. Like, it sounds good at first.
Okay, he's joking about that. Like, he has to be joking about that.
I don't. You don't know. You can't tell.
I mean, like, he believes in like marriage. Like that's one of the few things we agree upon.
Basically, just to bang someone, get kids, and just like not even live with the woman, just take the kids. And take the male kids probably.
Yeah, like like Fuentes would like if Fuentes unironically believes this, then he basically like I don't know has no problem with like the very like liberal like hookup culture of like America, which
based Fuentes. We should just like hookup culture.
Well, I'd argue unbased, but like we should also like do some like like liberal debates like on like Toasted on our channel. And
you're just a cringe conservator, Tarun. Oh my god, you should follow the based hookup culture supported by Mr. Nick Fuentes here.
All right, yeah, let's continue on.
Yeah, continue.
Sounds like kind of fun or interesting. You don't have to do laundry. You don't have to worry about.
Okay, we need to stop like laughing every like. We need to stop like pausing every 5 seconds.
But then the prospect of just like it goes on and on and on, and it's decade after decade after decade, and I don't know how thrilled I am with that whole idea. I'm kind of a solitary individual. I like my privacy. I like my autonomy.
Okay, well, there's a very Christian like concept in the Bible where like when like one man and one woman like marry, they're basically both married. They're both like one in the law. They can't be separated, which is why we're pretty much like kind of against divorce.
Yeah, fair enough. But also that whole laundry comment was absolutely balls. Nick, how did you do your own damn laundry, and why should she do your laundry for? I think Nick, unironically, think that women should just like their duty to do like laundry and housework and shit. That's just a fucked up thing to do. It's no one's duty to do anything. It has to be like decided upon among like the man and woman, like who does who. Just because you're a woman doesn't mean you just have to do the laundry. And laundry isn't even that hard. Like it takes probably what? Like you put the clothes in the washing machine, you put them there, drying them, or just put them in a dryer or something. It's not that hard.
And apparently don't mix the reds and whites, but like
yeah. It's not that hard. It's not rocket science. It's laundry. Everyone does fucking laundry.
Just the idea of like nagging GF, nagging wife. It's a little nightmarish to me.
Do you have a good relationship with your mom?
I love my mom. Yeah, I love my mom.
Mm-hmm. Is your mom a stay-at-home mom? What does she do?
Yeah, so she works now, but when me and my sister were growing up, she raised me. She quit her job to stay at home and raise us.
And what's your sister like? Do you get up with her?
Yeah, she's my twin. She's probably the opposite of me. She's more calm, sort of introverted. Yeah, but we get along.
Do you respect women?
Of course.
But you just don't want them to have any rights.
Well, I didn't say that. I didn't say they shouldn't have rights.
But
well, he doesn't want them to have equal rights to men.
Oh, but you'll see. He makes a comment in the future, and in a bit, and I think in a bit later, and this probably very very soon, he's gonna make a hooter of a comment. Just completely shreds this.
Okay.
Right. I don't think you've seen that part. Maybe you have. I don't know. But like,
understanding your question correctly, if you don't want them to vote or drive or have an existence akin to what they would have in, say, Saudi Arabia, you would say that in large part don't really have rights.
Well, I would say probably the ideal is something more like Afghanistan, if I'm being recent.
What's the difference between Afghanistan?
Yeah, recent. I'm pretty sure I saw a bit of this.
Yeah. Like, no. He says. Just keep playing. He'll clarify what he means.
Then and Saudi Arabia.
Like the brutality, I guess it's like a little slightly more brutal. Of course, Taliban rule, not American rule. I'm talking about
Taliban rule.
Yeah.
Hear that?
Yeah. Same treatment.
That is absolutely fucking insane.
Something approximating that, yeah, because you think about the Taliban and what they're able to achieve. Here you have these guys with nothing but some light arms and rags and 20 years, and they were able to defeat the largest military in history. I think that has something to do with the fact that they weren't like distracted.
I mean, let's be honest, like it's a mixture between like deciding whether force is sufficient, and also like like I'm pretty sure America may have not like sent enough troops, and like America doesn't want to like commit genocide. They could if they wanted to, but like and since they don't want to like be like authoritarian and force, well, I think Afghanistan they kind of were forcing, but like because they're also America's liberal, they kind of didn't want to. So they basically have a contradiction in themselves.
Not only that, but like he said, women should be like under like similar to what they have under the Taliban. Even though like women had like practically zero rights. They were treated as second-class citizens. They couldn't go to school. They lived in an extremely patriarchal society. So the fact that Nick is unironic saying we should be like unironically, not even like hiding it behind a mask. He's going full mask off here, dude.
The only problem is because what he says is so outlandish, and sometimes he jokes a lot. Even when he's being like honest, like it's sometimes hard to tell that he's joking. Like
full mask. Like this is not even a joke. Like women should be honest. That's not a joke. That's not even an edgy joke. You're just making random ass offensive statements at best, and just probably try and gun a reaction or whatever. You don't even know if it's real or not. But what the fuck, Nick? Like you have what does your sister think of this? Like there's one thing being like you don't support like feminism and stuff, and like sometimes it's justified, like some of the criticism against feminism and stuff, but unironically saying that women shouldn't have like the basic rights of like driving or like going to school, that's just fuck me. That's come on, dude.
And also like pretty inefficient, like from an economic perspective.
Of course, you want women in the workforce, right? From an economic standpoint, you want like more people working as much as you can, right? Always as big of a workforce as possible, the better, to produce more stuff.
The opportunity to work more.
Also educating women in many places. Also, they because they work like many different kinds of jobs and stuff that maybe men don't want to work. Anyway, you can
distracted with the kinds of things we are in America. They weren't being nagged, they weren't being bossed around by women. And now they've got this society where there's this brutality, like I said, this old world sort of order. And you bring up like voting. I don't see really voting as a right, if I'm being totally honest. Like it's not just, there's a lot of people that really shouldn't be voting anymore.
Such as?
Maybe people that don't own property, young people that work like retail jobs.
Retail jobs. Oh my God.
I mean, like, I understand, like, maybe, when he says young people, but like, he specifically says like retail jobs, like
retail jobs, and his justification is even better. He says something like, "Oh, they don't have like real one experience." Like what? Apparently, Nick lives like his mother or something. Like man has literally very little. Like, most people working retail jobs are probably like university students, or probably like have other jobs and stuff. Probably have way more like world experience than Nick ever has.
Yeah, this is what like the right. This is the straw man of the right by the left. Like this. Yeah, and.
Like this man is doing like the memes. Like conservatives don't want like retail. They're like elitists. Like they don't want like retail workers to vote. This guy's unironically supporting those things.
Yeah, I mean, I understand like the idea of like not letting democracy in the way of meritocracy, but like
like even
because
age
you're
is
a
like
retail worker doesn't mean you don't have merit. You need to like. Yeah.
Like even age is like fair. Like if you want to give him like 18 to 24, 25, whatever. Like I can probably understand that argument. I don't know if I'd support it or not, maybe being that high, but like I could somewhat understand like why you want like 18-year-olds because they're probably just fresh off of college, maybe still living with their parents and stuff, whatever. But like retail jobs, what the fuck, Nick?
Yeah.
It's bullshit. That's so elitist of you for coming from a right-wing from a populist. That sounds very fucking elitist. Holy shit.
Okay, maybe like minimize the swearing a little, at least sorry, maximum 1 per sentence.
Yeah, sorry. Have a habit.
Example. Really? Well, hear me out.
Jobs.
Well,
okay,
or like
I think we can all get on board with that national movement. It's like with the service that you're getting, it's like, man, you couldn't even get my change right. I don't know if you're gonna be able to pick the president of the United States.
I was in Lowe's earlier, and a young man helped me who's actually a fan of both of us, who was super lovely, and I would like him to...
Okay, I can understand like I forgot what's the host name again.
Elijah Schaffer.
Yeah, I understand like the idea that when he said like you can't even get my change right, like I understand. Like maybe the voters in general are quite incompetent, like and not knowledgeable, but
that can apply to literally anyone in any job, right? You can have like builders who are incompetent, architects, doctors who are doctors maybe much less because like the amount of scrupulous training through like medical stuff. But even then you can have some through like you can have some real like medical malpractice shit that happens. Like there are very bad horror stories and stuff about that. But even then, that's specifically like retail jobs. It's just I don't know what the hell he's trying to say.
But let's see, what was it? And I guess my problem with maybe Nick's point and maybe Elijah, depending on what he's saying, is that that there's an idea that there are a legible like group of people that can like vote for this and can make the right decisions. I don't believe that type of group is true, and it exists.
Also, being good at your job does not mean that you don't know stuff about like the real world. Like there are many very smart people who probably not be good at like some basic stuff. Like there are many really smart. Like apparently there was like this guy like a 190 IQ math professor in like Czechoslovakia or something. I forgot his name. But like his wife reported that he can't even like fix a SIM card or something. There are many people who are really good at some things, but just not as good as others. So that's not a basis on like why they can't vote because they may not be as good at their job or something. Because some people aren't equipped for like certain skills. They're probably just doing it to get money or something. But it still doesn't mean they're getting like not life experience or they're not like smart or something.
Yeah.
To vote, he was great. He was very clever.
Well, the thing about retail or these service jobs is like, you look at these young people, it's a lot of millennials, Generation Z, and they really don't know how things work. You know what I mean? Like if you own a business.
You're 23 years old.
Yeah.
He's 23, mate. You're acting like 60. Oh man, these young generations, man. Didn't this man vote for Trump? I mean, surely he voted for Trump, right?
Well, I understand the first time, but like the second time, like I'm confused why I voted for him the second time, considering like
but he did vote, right? That's really kind of hypocritical of him. But what is this guy's job anyway?
Like he thinks he and like I don't know, maybe a few of his like elites or friends are like legible to vote, and that's I don't know though? What type we need like
what does he even like have a job or does he like sit on like
does he even own property?
I don't think he owns property, to be quiet. Like does he even make money from like this whole escapade he's doing?
Oh well, he did before, but then like he got like
banned on Twitter.
Like taken off of social media, so I don't know if he's able to make money, but
I remember it's like his last few tweets. It was like something about like some homophobic shit. Like he's saying like blue birds don't get along with like white birds, so like gay people shouldn't get along or something. Some bullshit like that.
Okay.
Again, sorry. Again, I'm really sorry.
Yeah, that's fine.
If you're a homeowner, you kind of have an idea of like how things work. Like where things come from, and some idea of like how the economy works. And if your whole life is like, okay, you're in school, you're a student, you pay rent. You know what I mean? Like you don't even manage like how your apartment runs. Like how should you have a say in how the country is run? You don't even really know how anything comes together in society. So, the old way in America was that it was, of course, propertied white men. It was a very narrow group of people that were able to vote. And that's because the founding fathers didn't really believe in mass democracy, universal suffrage. They believed in checks and balances, and kind of voting was
do you believe in checks and balances, Fuentes? That like I understand like a lot of like conservatives and like Republicans.
He's just trying to like make sure he's trying to get a very specific group of people to vote, because that's like because if you think about it, many people like just because you don't like have an apartment doesn't mean you're like inexperienced or like not even old enough. Like imagine if you're like in a really place where like property can be really, really expensive. Sometimes owning home aren't even like financially good. Like if the home prices are really, really expensive, right? A lot of people use it. People use it as an investment to probably like eventually grow on it. And it's also generally older people. So he basically wants like older, whiter people working like those kind of jobs to get to vote, which is convenient because those are generally the people who vote for like conservatives. Generally older people vote for conservative. Effectively cutting out a huge chunk of the voter base who vote for the other side. Very convenient for Nick. Very, very convenient right there. Democracy for people who vote for
not convenient for like Nick economically, considering that like he's become a lot more like economically like left wing. So
yeah, he's a populist, right? Our populists usually just agree on a bunch of shit.
Yeah.
Like Crystal and Sagar, the best.
Oh, fudge.
Anyway, continue. That's another topic.
Yeah.
Checking the power of the ruling class or the regime with the power of the people. But they weren't under any illusions about this idea that like every person should have a vote. One man, one woman, one child, one vote. They didn't believe that. So that's not how the country was founded. That's not how the system was set up, and that was for a reason. So I think
the country was founded on equality. There were like issues with it. There was like slavery and like women couldn't vote. But the reason that eventually the main argument for like getting like removing slavery or like getting women to vote is that it was against American principles not to let these people vote, right? Because if women were like over the age of 18, why can't they vote? Why should black people have inferior rights to white people? Like it goes against the very foundation of what these guys were after, even though a lot of these guys were hypocrites. He's taking it literally, but not understanding like it's a concept, right? It's a concept. I think he says something like this in the end. I don't even.
Yeah, there are a lot of like anti-democrats. In fact, like there's a bunch. Actually, they're actually leading the society I'm in, like called the Liberty Society. Like the old school libertarians like left like last year, so a bunch of us new guys like took over, and it turns out my friend who runs our society is a monarchist. My other friend like Singapore. My other from Singapore, like my other friend from Singapore believes in good governance and meritocracy and doesn't believe in democracy. He's a supporter.
I mean, he's from Singapore, I guess. So like it's kind of similar to like how the government's kind of run there.
Like Singapore is like a
So sorry, it's a technically a one-party democracy, I guess.
Yes. But I believe it's one of the few like I believe like it's an actual democracy where like people actually like vote from. They do like gerrymandering and stuff, but
it's only one party who wins. Aiden Paladin, by the way.
It's the thing is like it is. I believe it is a democracy, but like there are other parties, but like often like if like one of the parties like say we will win this election, everyone will just laugh. They'll just say. But like if like the the voting share of like the main party like is lowered to such an extent, like then it may be such a bad showing. Even if they win, it could still be considered a bad showing. So like if there's a new party, like it will happen like maybe in a few decades. But like
also, I was gonna say Aiden Paladin. Do you have heard of Aiden Paladin?
She's great.
Yeah, apparently she's a monarchist. I think there was like a debate within like Sitch, I think Short Fat Otaku. I'm pretty sure she came out as a monarchist. I saw a bit of that debate, but I'm not entirely sure.
Okay. I have my own like disagreements with like monarchists and like authoritarians. But like I'm starting to like see democracy as much less like important. Like
I mean like a republic. Are you like for like a constitutional republic or something?
I'm for maybe a representative democracy, but like in our societies, UK, like US, Australia, like I don't think like democracy is like there that much. If I'm being honest, that's why I don't see like.
I'm more of a republic kind of guy. Like I think like it's sort of like the kind of like the system that sort of US has, because in many like very many representative democracies, what can happen is like minority people may not have as much of a voice, because if it's like the majority rules, right? So like white people just slave black people and they can't do anything about it, right? So we should have like a system with enough checks and balances. So like you can't have like, okay, the 51% just decide everything. There has to be like one checks and balances, and to like I mean maybe even like an equal representation, maybe, to be honest. Like maybe some people in like marginalized communities or like people like lower state communities maybe have more of a vote than like the majority. So like make sure that there's like groups that are eventually equal and stuff, that kind of stuff.
I believe like which like this is something which I disagree with my like American friends on like Twitter, that like the US has a lot of democratic components, and like well maybe there's an argument that it's not like an actual democracy, like it has like voting and stuff, like, and I think a constitutional republic requires a much like vote to like change, like I think the Senate has to be like roughly 2/3 or something to make a certain like permanent like change to like maybe
I think it's like 2/3 in some cases.
Yeah.
To just open it up to everybody. We have to think about how we're going to have competent government and who's going to make those choices. And, we have to think competent people should be making those choices.
So you're hardly competent, mate. Why are you voting? You're not fucking competent.
Yeah, I think he makes like maybe a great point that like, you don't necessarily get like competent people through like democracy, which is why I'm like,
but like
against like government.
Who is competent enough? That's the point. No one gets to decide in that kind of way what is competent enough, right? We base it off age, but we don't base it off like competency, right? Because that's like, I can literally make competency like the voter base. Like if I'm a Republican, I say I want competent voters to vote, and those happen to just coincidentally be like the Republican voters. Therefore, Republicans just win a landslide of elections. That's just not fair, right?
Yeah, also like and also like there's a lot of like meritocracy in the free market, because if you don't like as a general rule, if you don't like if you want like successful, then you'll actually get like voted out via money. Like you'll have less money, so you'll be incentivized to. But there isn't like much incentives. Like like how to participate in a market meritocracy. It's much harder to realize how you do well in a state meritocracy.
How does that work? Like the free market kind of system where the people vote by their money and stuff like that. That kind of stuff won't exactly. You can't really have like that kind of system with like politics and stuff.
Yeah.
If I were to ask you, like, let's start with rights. Let's start with access to something very simple. Let's go to an amendment. Let's go to 19th Amendment. Right? Let's start there. Let's just start there. All right. What do you thought? All right. Day one gone.
It shouldn't be there.
I have a question though. Have you ever lived?
Wait, isn't the 19th Amendment?
19th Amendment, I'm pretty sure the right to vote. Let me just check. Now, women's right to vote.
Everyone.
Guarantees all American women the right to vote.
Oh.
My God, dude.
He's definitely against that. Yeah.
He's a complete incel at this point. Honestly, there's no saving him. Like honestly, I don't have sympathy for like I don't even like people like complain about him getting like banned on Twitter and shit, but like I know that's like wrong on like a principle level, but screw this guy. I'm not even like sad that he's gone. I won't even like champion like his I won't be like active championing his free speech, because this guy's a complete batshit crazy person.
Yeah.
Country besides the United States?
Nope.
Okay, so I have a question though. Have you ever lived in any other country besides the United States?
Nope.
Okay, so let's talk about many of these things.
No wonder he's talking about shit like the Taliban and all, and like
whatever.
Can you pause it for a second? He says he can. That's why he can get away with shit like like saying stuff like, "Well, we should have been like the Taliban era and stuff," because he just doesn't understand like how messed up a lot of these countries can be in.
I feel like I'm fine with like deploying like Fuentes to like Afghanistan. Seriously, if he'd like to so much, just go live there.
Like I'm from India, right? And then I there's so much bad shit that happens to women there. Like a lot of them, there's a lot of there's unironically like a rape culture there. There's like dowry culture. There's like women. There are times where they cannot reveal the gender of a baby in India because there's a chance that they will abort it, right? They just abort female babies. It is so messed up there. You come to a country like America or something, you see it's such a good place for women because they actually have like an equal opportunity, or like they can at least be treated with like a basic dignity, and like women can like they can essentially have a job without like people generally going, oh, you're a woman, you can't have a job. That kind of stuff is like very stigmatized in many places in India, right? And in many other countries as well, like third world countries. He just doesn't have any he's so sheltered, honestly, right? He just comes off
could you see if there's like any like I don't know comments?
I just checked as a super chat. There was just nothing much, I think. This is Petro-san made like somebody gave like a monkey emote, I think, and somebody's mask creation broadcast type wrecked with like multiple Ks.
Oh yeah, I know. I know both of them. Like one of them's I think like friends with like Kevin Castley. Do you know that guy?
Yeah, I think you've talked about him in your YouTube videos, I think.
I don't think I have talked about him. Kevin Castley is like the neocon. Like he's the liberal hawk. And like Pedro Chen, like he's friends with Dropware and friends with me as well, but like Dropware and Red Phoenix Spices, yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I'll probably check it in the.
If there's like any like comments that you could respond to, that would be great.
Yeah. Okay, I just have it on my phone at the moment.
All right. Okay.
Keep going.
These are just from an observational standpoint where you've done a lot of reading and observed a bunch of things.
Yes.
And then arrived at your conclusions based on that.
Yes.
But you have no practical experience living under, say, a more authoritarian rule.
No. Well, I mean, I already live under something like authoritarianism in America. You know, I'm on the no-fly list. I'm being persecuted. The thing is about authoritarianism is it can't be condemned in itself, you know, because the character of the regime isn't really authority. The authority is colored by the people that are in authority.
Not to interrupt you, sorry, but just to back up for a second. So you're currently on a no-fly list based on the authoritarianism that's going on in the country.
Right.
Now, that authoritarianism, you could argue, is from the left, and the left are very happy that they have that authoritarianism. So what you want is right-wing authoritarianism.
Yes.
But your issue is with left-wing authoritarianism.
The problem is not authoritarianism. The problem is leftism.
What about the...
Oh my God, Nick.
Yeah.
So basically, he'd rather have he's not okay with like a left-wing authoritarianism with like whatever the COVID shit and like the lockdowns, but he's very okay with like putting like minority. He's assuming like putting like minorities and like separating minorities and stuff. Yeah, he says something like that and making sure women not have rights. All these things are wrong, Nick. Yeah, how do you respond to this rationally? He's just so outward.
He's literally like, I think like in his Milo interview, his words were basically like segregation isn't like realistic like right now. So he didn't say segregation is bad. He said segregation is not realistic right now in like my days.
Like I don't even know how to respond to this. Like usually you would like respond with like a coherent argument, or like when someone is saying something like you sound like an extremist right now. But this man is outwardly saying the said extremist thing that you would like compare things to. I don't even know how to respond to this.
Yeah, Fuentes like sets himself up for destruction. Says like he wants to like give power to the right, but you know power can be easily switched. So if you start giving like power to the right, or in his case the far right, then like maybe soon it could be changed, and then the left, who just like got battered with some authoritarianism by Fuentes, would start doing it to him, and like you know,
when the far right goes, the far left attacks. Then the far right comes and the far left attacks. The far right comes, the far left attacks. Nothing's ever going to happen. It's going to be two blabbering extremist groups just yapping at each other for like the entire existence.
Yeah.
This is hard to respond to. He's just saying some of the most ridiculous crap. I don't even know what to say. He's genuinely speechless.
Okay.
People on the left who think of you and go, well, I don't want to live under his rule of law. Because obviously there are people who don't think like you.
This is the essence of politics. This is the essence of politics, is that there is an us and there is a them. There are right-wing people and there are left-wing people, and you know, people have varying identities with different
marginalize an entire group of people. That's not the point. That's not good politics. Good politics is trying to actually get what's best for people, right? That's the problem. People do not want what's best for like the entire country and like the entire people. They just want what they want. They just want like what their side to win. It's like blood sports at the moment. That's the problem. Like people, it's very hard for like people to like reach compromises on stuff. Like even when they do reach compromises, it's not like really bad like policies. That's an issue. Like you don't want like this us versus them. It's so divisive. You're gonna alienate so many people. Like it's gonna be very hard for like people you politically disagree with, like to be friends with this kind of attitude. You're gonna
Fuentes. Don't you see? Saga and Crystal. It's not. You shouldn't be hating each other. You should be hating people less and hating the elites more.
Yes.
Yes.
But not the way Saga and Crystal do.
Yeah.
Yes, the problem is that we are not in control of the regime. Ultimately, the problem is not the regime itself or power, because the thing is, and this is the problem, is that conservatives are sort of naive about power. Power, you know, we're not getting rid of it anytime soon. You know, this idea of like take over the government to let everybody go and free the people. It's like there will always be concentrated, centralized power. And the question is, well, who's going to wield it? Are we going to forfeit the playing field to the left? This is essentially what conservatives have done because they're averse to rule. You know, like when conservatives get in control of Congress or the presidency, what do? Do they go aggressively like the left does and wield the bureaucracy and wield the Congress? Or do they kind of just, well, we're going to cut your taxes and we're going to do this and that. And then the left comes in with a vengeance and they say, we're going to use environmental regulations to take your gun rights. And
yeah, you're right.
The same thing happened. Many Republicans also went like absolutely cracked when like Obama did anything, and they tried to like I think they tried to impeach Obama a few times. I'm not entirely. They tried to impeach Marjorie Taylor Greene or something, like tried to impeach Biden before he even like got into like the presidency and stuff. Something along those lines.
They're vengeful.
Come on.
Yeah, like I'm gonna be honest. I don't like the Republicans like impeaching like Biden for no reason. But let's be honest, like they're now going as now they're like falling down. Yeah, they're basically copying the left's morals because like they
lost. These guys went absolutely nuts. They're like, impeach Biden. He cannot be president. Trump is like secretly the president. Like you can't say this. Like you not understand. This is so hypocritical. You accuse like the other people are doing the exact same thing that you do. You have no self-awareness. This is the problem with the us versus them politics. When they do something heinous and you do the same thing, you never realize when you do something. You don't even care when you do something. You think it's justified. Like when you do like absolutely cracked stuff, just because the other side is doing it, so we just get to fight back. That's not how it works. You have to at least try to be fair to like the people, right? To the average people, not just screw each other over like this.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to use the IRS to go after, conservative nonprofits. And we're going to do this, and we're going to solidify our rule, and then we are going to set the tone for the country. And conservatives then, even like when Trump gets into office, it's like, what did we accomplish in the first 2 years? When we had Congress, we had the courts, we had the White House, we did a corporate tax cut, barely repealed Obamacare. That's about it.
Okay. Other than like, the corporate tax cut and like mass deregulation, we also had like 3 conservative Supreme Court justices, which, as a reminder, like in the past, like maybe not even 3 decades, in the past few decades, the right had been suffering thanks to like a bunch of like Supreme Court rulings.
Yeah, what was the latest one again? What was her name? She has like 6 children or something, right?
Yeah, like she ACB was it like?
Amy Coney
Barrett. Like
Amy Coney Barrett.
She just needs another A to like say all cops are bad. But anyway, and let's see. So
that was a whole.
And right. So he did
Didn't
like
Trump had another Supreme Court judge while in his presidency before Ruth Bader Ginsburg died.
Yeah, like yes, I think like I don't know what Sam said is like now angry at like the Jimmy Dore types who basically said that Trump's not going to be as bad as Hillary. Like, oh boy, like if I was a lefty, I'd be infuriated because like I'd rather have like 4, like what Trump just did was extremely long term.
Yeah, and it might even repeal Roe v. Wade even during like they were discussing about like repealing Roe v. Wade, right? The Supreme Court was considering it. Yeah, that probably wouldn't have. That shouldn't happen. It's very bad that that's happening under democratic rule. Like the Republican judges are like getting their way and like trying to repeal Roe v. Wade. That's kind of a problem, isn't it?
Depends.
But it depends. Like it depends. If you're like a Democrat, then it's a problem, and if you're like pro-choice like me, then
yeah. I guess like with Roe v. Wade, like as someone who's against abortion, like Roe v. Wade, like specifically says like the government shouldn't interfere with like a woman's body, but that doesn't necessarily go against like the pro-life side. It depends on like whether or not like the fetus is like part of the woman's body or not.
Yeah, that's a debate for another time. We can have a debate sometime soon about like pro-life versus pro-choice. We can just like hate on Nick at the moment. We both agree on that.
Yeah, and also I also want to say like Republicans like I guess have been like effective in other ways, such as like even recently with like I think like Texas, like the abortion stuff, and
Florida. I think DeSantis is doing like DeSantis, like a lot of people are like supporting Florida, even like lefties, because like DeSantis has done like he's like set the measures for like COVID freedom, like no mask mandates anywhere and stuff.
Yeah, and like the border, like well, actually, like the border, like would take a little too long to explain, but like
it's because after being in lockdowns for so long, being in a state like Florida where it's like everything is just open and people are having like a good time and stuff. That sounds appealing.
we should have went after the endowments for the universities. We should have targeted left-wing institutions. We should have opened up the libel laws and went after the media. So
the thing is, like, his thing, like, America isn't a dictatorship. There's only so much you can do.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
And like the thing is, like, Obama and like Trump like did a lot, but they also couldn't do much.
Yeah,
and
like also not to mention that if you don't have like I think there was also a very large period of time where like the House was not on Trump's side, right? I think so. Like you can't really do much in that case then.
Yeah,
right?
like
because the Democrats hate Trump so much. Like there's nothing that it's gonna be. I'm surprised they even got anything to get passed in that state.
Yeah, after 2018, like Trump, like couldn't like do much, which so
and in 2017 he did all those tax cuts. He had that ban and stuff. He started when did he start construction of the wall? Quite late on, I believe, right?
Yeah, I don't know much information about the wall at this. I might like prefer maybe like state walls instead, because
cross state lines. We've been too busy crossing state lines.
But like, yeah, I'm starting to like get a little more like, I don't know, maybe I'm more centrist on immigration. My new like immigration position is attack everyone else on immigration and see if the like arguments like stand up, and then like adopt that position.
See, my view on immigration is that open borders between countries is fine, but if you cross state lines, you're an immediately Nazi and you should be persecuted with the death sentence.
Of course, that's that's I think the most like
based and red pill position. The most base and red pill position in history.
So, conservatives just aren't playing the game. We've got to wake up to the reality of power politics, engage and play. And so back to the original point, the problem is not that there is power, that there is authority. There will always be authority. There has to be authority.
Some comments, by the way, Tarun. If you want to see it, it's
okay. I think I'll like take a like I don't know 30-second break. Oh boy, there's a ton of comments.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Someone has become a giant weapon. The problem is that I don't have control of the weapon.
All right. Yeah. All right. Let's see. So.
Yeah. Someone praised you. Just praised you. You need way more subs, man. Love that you helped out Stephen Michael Davis. Much love from Egypt, from Ferris. GG.
Yeah.
GG
thanks, Ferris. I guess.
He'll get there.
I don't know what to say. Just like, thank you. Like, and he like really like helped me out with like that shout out. Like, I got. Let's see what I think I got like around maybe 40 subs like from his channel.
Did he give you a shout out? I didn't know that. I know you did a thumbnail, but I didn't know he gave you a shout out.
I should have like told you like weeks ago. I thought maybe you would have like known by now, but yeah, I guess maybe Toasted didn't tell you. But like basically, did you see like Stephen Michael Davis's like I don't know war video on like
I think I've seen a bit of it. Stephen Michael Davis.
Right, so
did you do a thumbnail or something?
Well, I did. I think I've done all his thumbnails since like his Just a Democrat video.
Really? So you've done all these? Oh, awesome, dude.
Yeah, you recognize like
yeah, the style is very much like you.
Yeah, and if you
is this the one?
Like he put it in the pinned comment.
Really?
Yeah,
my man.
Yeah, that I should have like
my man. Oh,
yeah, like I
absolute legend.
Yeah, thank you.
Absolute legend. Proud of you, man. Actually.
Oh, yeah. All right. Yeah.
I remember you had only like 30 subs, and I've been you all this time. Now you have almost. Now you're like a superstar.
Yeah, like you. I think you. Let's say so. Like on January 26 or 20 something. Like we like met on like stream. Actually, we met before. But like
I think
I had like 38 like subs.
Yeah.
Like, so
now you're
like 100 subscribers in like 1 year. Yeah. So yeah. So this is like the video like that like got me to like 100 like views. It used to be like at like 120 before the shout out. Like that was like 2 weeks ago, I think.
Yeah. GG.
All right. So yeah, now I'm right. Actually, what else? Yes. All right, so Dirty Warp censored. Yes, the problem isn't that the government has become a giant weapon we point at each other. The problem is I don't have control. Yeah. Let's see. His head is actually regular size. It just looks big because his body is so small and frail.
Yeah, agreed.
Oh yeah, like speaking, of like Nick Fuentes, like Dirty Warp censored. Like my buddy, like Dirty Warp censored. He
What did he do? Oh.
Yeah, he's done his like own like response videos to like Nick Fuentes. Like, let's see, where is
AOC a capitalist pig dog?
All right, yes, yeah. All right, yeah, this one. Nick Fuentes is a beta. Beta. All right, I'll send it in like the chat. Like,
yeah, I'll check it out later as well. Send it to me also.
Yeah. All right. So
yeah, you can just continue.
Yeah, I'll go back to like the chat and like another point.
I'll just frequently check.
And
yeah,
right-wing people have to do that, which is why I said earlier, if Trump became like, the Caesar of America, hypothetically, if he had got in 2016 and said, you know what, I'm not leaving, and the courts tell me that I have to leave, well, I'll disobey them, and he went full, Andrew Jackson, I would support it.
Well,
basically becomes a full fascist. He'll just support it.
Like, I don't understand like why like Fuentes supports like Trump, because remember he's had like what, more than I think around 3 marriages.
Doesn't this guy hate Jews or like Israel?
Like he's definitely anti-Israel, and like when it comes to Jewish people, it's like weird. Like he seems to like do like more like demographic identity politics, where he basically says like there's a bunch of good guys and a bunch of evil guys. Now he says the quote unquote good guys tend to be white and the bad guys tend to be Jewish. So it's basically a weird type of anti-Semitism. It's mostly anti-Semitism. So
yeah, he also called Ben Shapiro like a Jewish shill or something, or like an Israel shill or a Zionist shill, whatever. But like even Trump, isn't like Trump like super pro-Israel?
Yeah, and also like he has like a bunch of like Jewish connections, a lot of like Jewish family members. Like it's so much that, like he has so much Jewish connections that like Ezra Levant, like or from Rebel Media, like said that he didn't want to like say this last point because he was worried about like the commenters.
A lot of
like,
the right wing,
it's the Jews. Like
a lot of the right wing is actually Jewish. Like a lot of
Ezra Levant was based. Wait, is it Ezra Levant?
I think Ezra Levant
was basically making a video saying how Trump is not like bigoted, and one of his points was that like is that he had his last point was that he has like a lot of like Jewish connections. Like he's very there might as well be a joke that like Trump is Jewish.
Isn't like Ivanka or like one of his children here, and doesn't he have like
grandchildren? Jared Kushner is like Jewish. Like I'm pretty sure.
No, I think Ivanka's. I think Ivanka's children or something. I'm not entirely sure, but like he has Jewish, half Jewish grandchildren or something. Apparently.
Yeah.
I think that was he.
Yeah. I wouldn't say this is authoritarianism. This is in principle wrong. I would say this is a right man for the job. This is a rightful ruler of America. And
what if Joe Biden does the same thing? What if he loses an election, right? And then he just denies all the court stuff and he continues it. He's gonna go ape. This guy's like blatantly like being a hypocrite. This guy has no principle. His only principle, like he wants his side to win, and that's such a toxic. That's so toxic because you're first of all you're alienating a huge bunch of your population.
Also, like, he wants like Donald, and he wants like Donald Trump of all people to lead. Like I mean, like Donald Trump has like many like successful like qualities, but he's so dumb as well.
Yeah,
like of all the people that like he wants him to lead, like
out of all the tantrums that like Trump and many conservatives threw after like he lose the election, I'm surprised he's saying it was not enough, because it was so it was getting like, come on, just accept that you've lost. Come on, just move.
I wanted on the inside. I was like, please, like accept this. Making us look bad. I was like, you are making us look bad. Why?
It's all conspiracy. Like even like mainstream conservatives are like going for like this conspiracy. It was so weird. Like every single even if you thought there could have been like voter fraud, continuously each and every time there was like a voter fraud claim, it was completely shot down. Right?
Yeah.
And my God, they just apparently it is enough for Nick that he had to literally like he was like a baby crying, and they like almost physically like throw him out before he like at least like shut up and like accepted that he lost.
Yeah, as a conservative and like I guess a Republican, like someone who might vote like basically would vote Republican if I was in America, like it was like, please stop, you're making us look bad. It got so bad, like
making the reasonable people look bad, the reasonable conservatives. The people think like the reasonable conservative is like the Nick, like, but that's not the case. I think most people can agree this guy's an incel.
The thing is, like, it got so bad that I basically like, you know what, like I'd gone from a sometimes Trumper like Ben Shapiro to like, you know, like
based Rhino.
Actually, no, I'm not a Billy Pink never Trumper. Like I'm out of the Trump spectrum. Like
good.
Like basically like what, like I guess I was back in like, you know, when I was asked by the leader of the Liberty Society, not the monarchist one, the previous one, what would like stop me like from like, you know, supporting like Trump or at least wanting him to like win the election, as like if he denied the results of like, you know, the election, like I'll be honest, like in the first like few months, like I, you know, didn't like, I was still a bit like on the like, you know, Trump like party, like Trump, not necessarily but I was like after the election, but like, you know, like once, other than the fact like the courts like, you know, like denied it, like I did remember like, you know, Stephen Michael Davis like, you know, showing how like, you know, Trump like only won, you know, the Trump like win was like a margin of within the margin of error in the 2016 vote, and it was pretty like reasonable why people voted like Trump out, and I eventually like accepted it within like a few months.
Also, like I was kind of a conservative for a bit of a while, and like in this last election, I was kind of neutral. I kind of slightly wanted Trump to win because I didn't like Biden's gun policies, but like after the election happened and there was like this whole like he started crying, and then like all the bad COVID policy that like he did, and then after all he caused such a fuss about trying to go out, and almost he was like actively encouraging like the Jan 6 right when they were happening, like actively saying like there were a bunch of like patriots and stuff over there. My God, I lost.
I don't know if he was like saying like, you know, he was like you know, endorsing the. I don't think he was like.
I mean, he was, even if he wasn't endorsing them, he was like saying such ridiculous crap that he was unironically like.
Yeah, the election. No, I'll blame him for the election. I blame like Jan 6 on the election denial of Trump. Like that's way
absolutely. It was the election denialism. People just could not accept that fact.
Yeah.
Anyway, you can continue. Yeah. Sorry for talking.
That's good. That's fine.
You know, you bring up Caesar, but didn't that end pretty poorly for them?
No, the empire.
The empire end.
Caesar being killed by Mark Antony was based. wait, no, not Mark Antony, someone else. Like, what was it? Like, was it Bruticus? Like, Mark Antony was like, you know, a friend of like Caesar, but yeah. Yeah, I like Mark Antony. Like, I like a lot of like Shakespeare plays, but anyway,
did pretty poorly, I think.
Yeah, after like, you know, hundreds of years.
Macus, Brutus,
and how many we got left?
Well, I don't know. I mean, that's just it. The Roman Republic was around, and then it gave birth to a true empire ruled by Caesar, and then, you know, they reached their zenith under the empire. So I don't necessarily think that's the worst thing in the world.
I just find it interesting, though, that you're you know, promoting these ideas having not ever lived under them. I just find that that's such a, it's, you know, it's odd to say let's paint the entire house blue when you've never seen a blue house.
Well, I mean, do I need to go to Russia to?
Yes, probably.
Why? I mean, why?
I mean, I'll give you an example. A very good friend of mine who I've known for about 10 years used to be very much like you, actually. And he, you know, he's someone who used to really, really prop up authoritarianism. He used to, and he still believes this in part, that people do need to be governed to a large extent because people, you know, left alone are morons. And that's not saying necessarily that I even disagree with. I think your average person is probably as dumb as a bag of rocks. However, he moved to Singapore, which you could argue is not the worst place in the world. Obviously, it's quite clean. People, you know, follow the law. The crime rate is reasonably low. But after about 2 years of living in Singapore, where they knock on your door, and this has happened to him, where he got dumped in by his neighbors for having water on his balcony, and they said it's causing a mosquito problem. Now we're at your house, prepared to fine you over mosquitoes. He said to me, I hate living in this country. I hate the authoritarianism here. I hate the way that things operate, because coming from Australia, he's an Aussie, He was like, I much prefer the way that we do things back home, or at least, you know, the freedom that we have. And living in a country where that's staunched in some capacity was really, and is, and continues to be very bothersome and trying for him. And so I just find it interesting, though, that you've only ever lived in the United States. I just, you can only do so much reading before practical experience actually should take, you know, some sort of precedence. I mean, I say this.
Yeah. Sini's actually directly like taking his arguments and like spinning and using his things against him. Like, do you have a mother? Like, do you respect your mom, or do you have like any siblings or whatever? And that those are like good arguments, because he's directly like because he's reflecting them, because he probably cannot empathize. He's trying to empathize, like, what if this happened to your family member, right? What if this happened to like you or somebody you know, right? That's an amazing way to like deal with it.
Yeah.
And a lot of the comments are like, oh my god, Sydney Watson's like a feminist. Oh my god, like Sydney Watson was like one of the leading anti-feminists like for a long time on YouTube. My god.
Oh,
she's not like a woman hater, obviously. I would be very surprised if it's unironically like a woman who like hates women, like who doesn't want women's rights.
Okay. Also, like she mentioned Singapore. We actually like mentioned Singapore, and my friend, like, while I do have some like agreements with Singapore, like, you know, it's I think it's like top of like the economic like freedom index.
It's quite like very free market kind of country. Like, free market is quite high.
Yeah, but it's like, I'll admit, this is one of my like big disagreements with like my Singapore friend, like, who, you know, I guess I respect a lot. Singapore's basically like, you know, authoritarian. Like, I don't think like it matters much, but to the average person in Singapore, since they're very like order based, that's one of the reasons, like, you know, that Singapore, it's probably the only successful authoritarian country. Like, but
I mean, it's kind of debatable, to be honest.
Anyway. Like, I don't think it's as like authoritarian. Like, in many ways, it's, you know, kind of decent. But I guess like, because like Singapore is like an unknown like element to me. Like, I've been losing so many debates with like my Singapore friend, because like I don't know his arguments that well, and like he's been debunking like a lot of them. So I've definitely like met my match.
Yeah, it's fine.
Too. I mean, I dare say, from my understanding of many of your viewpoints, you also promote like the way of interacting with women. And I go, have you been in a relationship with a woman?
No.
So how?
Shocker! Oh, shock! I'm shocked. I wonder why women will not date Nick Fuentes. I wonder why. I really wonder why. Why women do not like Nick, the best women respected I've ever seen on this planet Earth. I wonder what is it about Nick that draws away all the women. I just wonder. It's such a mystery. Sherlock cannot solve it.
Any actual physical, you know, interaction with them in a romantic capacity, or in fact in any capacity where you know, uphold them in a way that treats them with respect. I mean, if you're out here arguing that women are basically half the value of, well, I'm not going to put words in your mouth, in fact, because that's not right. But, you know, if you are looking to some other regimes around the world that do think that women are...
Oh, look at his face. You know that he wants to basically say women are like should be half as like the value of men. Like,
I mean, the things he's saying, he's not even a half, dude. Like, much less than half. Basically, like subhuman. Basically, with like as minimal rights as possible. Not even half.
Yeah, it should be in the US instead, where women are worth 77% of a man.
77. It's actually 85 cents now, I think, the wage gap in the US.
85%. We're getting there, woman. We're getting there.
We're getting there. Almost 100 bucks. Let's go.
And I have to question what kind of a person who's had no experience with women is in a position to you know, basically promote these ideas.
Well, I'm having an experience with a woman right now, and I've had lots of experiences with women in my life, not romantically per se, but I've talked to enough women. I've been in, you know, I've known enough women to know sort of what's going on. I think any man who is observant enough, and honestly, you know, like I said, we could go back to great geniuses. We could go back to people that have been in relationships. Like a perfect example is like the pickup artists. You know, have you ever noticed that pickup artists who have the most relationships with women and the most sex, what they say is that really with women, it's the same bag of tricks. to seduce a woman or whatever. And I think that kind of tells you something about the nature of women, that, you go from woman to woman, and it's the same kind of like little tricks, little things you could say or whatever to kind of hack them and whatever. And I think that kind of says it all about their nature. So
what does it say about our nature, Nick?
Well, it says that they're not fully rational. I don't believe that.
Oh my god, that's such a dog crap argument.
Well, I don't believe I don't believe either gender is fully rational.
No, do you think men are rational? You know how easy it is for like a woman generally to like attract a man? Have you seen what Pokemon, have you seen like Pokemon? Bunch of thirsty simps, right? And here's the thing, have you noticed that most of these pickup artists are mostly men? But Jordan Peterson talks about it in his book 12 Rules for Life. I read a bit of it, and he talks about how like it's usually like the women who are like choosing the men, and the men are like That's like the thing. So it's basically like the men have to like have like these sort of neat bag of tricks, whatever, like to like attract the women, because they're the one who wants to decide whether this mate that the mate they're going for is like suitable to like pass on their genes, right?
But also that's one of the reasons why like women hate sluts, because when like you give like a quote unquote the gift, like give up the gift way too easily, then like they basically destroys the power of like other women, which is why like women like
Okay, that doesn't mean they're not rational though, right? Like maybe they just like, maybe that means they're probably just a bit more generous than maybe you think in that respect. Like they don't really have like a very strict set of like standards and like how they do it, but like they still sometimes it's usually the men who always like ask them women, like in those usually it's not really women asking, but there are cases of where that happens though. But like it's generally like as Peterson said, it's usually the men asking them out. It's usually because men are also much more like enticed by women than usually women are by men, from my experience at least.
Oh yeah, that's definitely
see a couple of breasts and boom, that's it.
Rationality. I think that
rationality towards what specifically?
Rationality just entirely, sort of objective. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't think they're capable of that. I think that male has a real impersonal sense of rationality and reason. I think that a female sense is far more personal, and that derives from the fact that women are made to bear children. Women are made with their wombs to bear children, and so I think their whole consciousness is basically it's wrapped up, it's bound up in this idea that they've got to carry a child and then raise a child. And I think that
make them less rational though?
Personality.
Like you can be rational towards like a human experience, can't you? Like you can think about a rational thing of like a human experience, or like in a perspective of trying to care for someone. That does not make you more or less irrational, right?
Yeah.
What is he trying to say here? I don't get it.
Rationality, objectivity suffers from this. But in any case, to get back to the original question, which is about experience, I don't think that I need to live in Russia to know that we would rather have right-wing people running America than left-wing people. I think that's kind of asinine.
Oh, please. Like that's
using right-wing authoritarianism. He has no experience of like if Nick Fuentes can like cry about people being like no-fly list and stuff, claiming that he's oppressed. He has no idea what it's like for like any average person living in like another country. That's the point, right? That's the point. He's living in a very free country where he's being allowed to go on like shows like this where he's like express his views, right?
Yeah.
Many of these countries, they're not even allowed to like go there, like express their views and stuff. They can barely make these kind of experiences. It's all like state media propaganda and stuff. And he's enjoying those luxuries all while like complaining about it.
Yeah. That's why I understand why some people would argue that like he's I don't know, a leftist. I don't agree with it because I think that's insane, but
you can
thing which people like to trot out, and they say, well, you haven't, we could qualify with all kinds of things, but the way that we live in America is unacceptable. I mean, there's homeless people everywhere. The crime's out of control. It's a corrupt country. It's a failing country. And
I mean, it's come on. Like, I know there are like issues with America, but like again, you have to see your whole world to realize like even if you're living in like America now, you're probably like very, very privileged.
And also like Russia, like it has like higher abortion rates and like high drug abuse. Like what you could say about like I don't know America, you could say like 10 times worse with Russia.
Yeah, like crime rates as well. Like most like a lot of cities don't even have that high crime. Which is like a few cities in America that have a very very high.
Democratic cities as well. So like
yeah, but like he has no perspective. Like you know how like so many people are like kind of like India or like Sri Lanka, like other different kind of countries like Pakistan. They would love to go to countries like Britain or America. This is the point. That's the point Sydney's making. Like if you're not you've lived in America all your life, you have no perspective on like how bad things are in other countries.
Yeah, both of our like parents like left those countries. Like
I was in India. I moved to like America and like other countries and stuff. I can tell you safely that a lot of these countries like Australia, America and stuff, they're much better. They're much like standard of living wise, cleanliness wise, pollution wise, like income wise, it's just better in every way.
Yeah.
And,
we want to have countries, Nick, around the world that have right-wing leadership still have many of those issues, and in fact, they're exacerbated oftentimes by the governments that are in power. So, and I would say too, I mean, what I'm arguing here. I'm not even arguing. I'm just posing questions, really, because I'm interested to hear your viewpoints. However, I'm not saying. I mean, I agree with you in the sense that we should have, right-wing leadership. I prefer to live under a right-wing government, so to speak. Although I'm more on Eric's side of things these days, from edging closer and closer towards anarchism.
By the way, Mass Creation Broadcast made a comment. Can I say it?
Oh yeah. What is it?
Mass Creation Broadcast and Nick Fuentes would be a total low-level bootlicker under a right authoritarian regime. Yeah, obviously. He said he'd bootlick for Trump under like a right-wing regime. If it was like Trump, like doing it, he would like support Trump, like actively like denying the courts. No, I will be the president. I don't care what your court is saying. I don't have a good Trump impression. Sorry.
But it's a pretty like decent like American accent.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, you can.
Saying that I would rather a left-wing government over a right-wing one. I'm simply saying, having never lived under the autocratic rule that you seem to be promoting in some capacity, I'm having a hard time understanding how you can say that this would be the best way to go about doing things when you actually have no practical experience. That's all
where
it is.
Where do we see, I'm wondering
that's
right
all
now,
but
where do we see Christ-based, like, theocratic? I think isn't that more of what you're for, is like more like a
theocracy? No, you're talking about theocracy.
Yeah, what counterpoints like
used to happen before a lot more, like the theocratic rule. Like theocratic rule technically happen in Sharia law countries as well, right? Like these kind of theocratic rule that he's talking about happens a lot in Sharia law countries, right?
Yeah.
Don't tell me Nick Fuentes unironically supports Sharia law? My God, Nick. I'm not even surprised if he does. Like he doesn't support like Taliban kind of rule. I'm pretty sure they're like very pro, and like I'm very sure they're pro Sharia law. So like
yeah, like if for some reason he says no, I'm not for Sharia law, then boy, he has a lot of explaining to do.
What? Like, why would he be like, from what he said about like wanting women to be like unlike the Taliban, or why would he be like anti-Sharia law? That'll be like the most confusing stance ever.
Yeah.
Unless this is like one big troll job and Nick is just like one massive troll and every single view is a troll and he's trying to be like a lefty, he's actually secretly a lefty, trying to like be like a troll, showing like how bad the right wing is, in which case, well done, sir. Well done.
Yeah.
No, but not necessarily just theocracy, but I'm just saying, like, in some way with authority,
like
I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
You mean like
But I'm saying that's Muslim. Yeah, but like a Christian version of, let's just say, maybe a Christian version of Iran, but not the exact government system. I'm just saying, like, where do we actually see that? Because I could just be sounding like an idiot here, but I don't know if we have any of that sanctified or left in its own original state of like a Christian autocratic type of rule. Do we have that? I don't know where we have it.
Not in this day and age.
Like,
not in this day and age.
I don't think it's
Poland kind of.
Yeah. Finally, young Ripper speaks. It feels like an hour because we've been talking for an hour, but it's that's basically 15 minutes. And for some reason, like when it's more of us, we're able to go through this much quickly.
Yeah, usually it takes like even like the PSA sit streams and stuff. It takes for like a 20-minute video takes like 4 hours for them to go through sometimes. So yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean, that's why I hate the streams. I do like the streams, but just I want to see the whole stream.
Yeah, that's hard sometimes. They do go on like tangents and stuff, which is. I mean, I do enjoy this stuff sometimes. It is very fun.
Yeah.
Not really. Like that's what I'm
more
saying.
like Hungary. More like Hungary would be more comparable because Viktor Orban, who's not perfect but he's very good. In Hungary, he articulated, I think, a few years ago, he gave a speech at a university and talked about a new Christian nationalism in Europe, as opposed to other forms of nationalism or other kinds of democracy, and articulated and it's not quite, what I'm talking about, a sort of autocratic rule inspired by religion, but it's a closer approximation of that. But you're right, we don't really have that. And is this a symptom of modernity? Is this liberalism? It's probably been 100 years since we've had any kind of meaningful Christian
I wonder why
rule anywhere in the world.
Oh yeah,
it was very oppressive to like people and stuff, like many minority people, gay people, and like women in general.
Like World War One destroyed like a lot of those like autocracy, like one like advantage of war is bringing like a ton of change like at a massive scale. And
honestly, I don't even know how to like react to this. Like if you call someone like an authoritarian, generally they'll be like offended by it. Like when they think your arguments sound very authoritarian, you're like, oh my god, this man is unironically making pro-authoritarian, like very, very pro-authoritarian. How do you respond to this? I don't know how. I genuinely don't know how to like respond to this well.
Sometimes like Nick Fuentes like needs to be like hit by like light. So like I don't know, maybe
he needs a counselor. He needs a counselor. This man's like psycho. This guy's like insane.
Yeah.
People like Nick are like incel. They need that. I think like these kind of people need like some like extensive psychiatric therapy or something, more than like no-fly lists or like even like media attention. Like Nick probably needs like a psychiatrist to like help him. Hopefully one day he gets like red pilled. One of these days, like, oh man, I was like such a far right extremist, now much more liberal centrist, whatever.
Yeah, kind of like I'd love he get like lib pilled because I've been a bit like lib
pilled. He should based. He should get that. He should get lib pilled.
Yeah, I'll tell you more. I'll elaborate more on what like the lib pill means by what I'm saying, but like,
world, and all you have to look at is the experience of history. This experiment of overthrowing the kings and overthrowing the gods, it's been a complete disaster. I mean, think about how Europe and America used to be 100 years ago. I mean, it's no contest compared to the kind of scum and degeneracy and the
my days.
America 100 years ago.
I'm sorry.
100 years ago, like slavery and stuff happening close to 100 years ago.
In terms of like technology, like just computers, like touchscreen phones, like. But wait, they can go up to the moon, like internet, like just so much like stuff, like even some little things like like printers and like USBs and just.
And not only that, like from a human perspective, it's so much better now. Like it was like people did, a lot of people did not even have rights like 100-ish years ago.
Yeah.
Like even like 50, 60 years ago, like black people were like segregated. And like,
well, I mean, he's okay with that, but like,
isn't this guy Hispanic?
Huh?
Isn't this guy Hispanic?
He's hot. He's a half spick. Yeah.
Oh, bruh.
Oh no, wait, he's a quarter spick. Like I think his dad is like, so, half and spick. He's against like interracial like marriage. Wait, but then again, maybe he's
Jesus Christ.
Well, actually, maybe he's like like his dad's like. I mean, like he's like quarter.
He has to find a quarter Hispanic lady to produce his male heir to break down his legacy. If he believes in it, he doesn't believe in.
Wait, maybe he's like descended like from a white Hispanic instead, like because not all like Hispanics are like brown, so like I don't know, maybe he has some leeway there.
I don't even.
And let's see, also another thing, like even if you don't care about technology, like people. Like the infant mortality rate, it's decreased. Like before, people usually have a lot of children because a lot of them like would die a lot to disease. But like now, like in the West, we pretty much like have just generally have 2 or 3 children instead.
Yeah, like because a lot of it is because I think because like they will have to work in like farms and stuff, but a lot of the children would die. But like since the child mortality rate is so down because of like technology and stuff, they don't have to have as many children.
Yeah.
Also because of like birth control, you can just have a lot of sex without having children. So
that's something I.
But Nick will never use birth control because he's probably never going to get laid.
Awful things that we see today. And all that we want is a restoration of that. And I'm a real conservative in the sense that I don't believe that we're going to get to heaven on this side of death, right? So I don't know that we're going to get to I don't know. We're not going to have a perfect society, but it's a question of what kind of a society are we going to live in? What kinds of problems do we want? Do we want to have the excesses perhaps of a Christian autocratic rule and sometimes the cruelty or things that come with that? Or do we want to live in the environment we live in now, where mankind is killing itself. People are not having children, and it's sickness and depravity, and children are being.
I mean, like
people are having. People are having. They're procreating less, having less physical baby. That's also because child mortality is down.
Yeah, but it's not only that. Like, I think he's also talking about how, like, the birth rates are less than like sub replacement, so that will eventually, at least in the West.
Why do you
that's like kind of a problem.
I mean, like, isn't like America have like a positive birth rate or something? There's not a particularly high senior population like it is in many other countries. I'm not entirely sure though. I don't think it's much of an issue in America though.
Well, I think maybe in America. I guess we can double check, but I think in a lot of like European countries, this is like true.
Yeah, European countries it might be an issue, but like, yeah, that could be. That's not the end of the world though. That's just an issue that policy wise that happens. Even in Japan, it's an issue.
Oh yeah, Japan's very big issue with I'm just gonna like
you generally just incentivize people to procreate, which means Nick Fuentes has to get laid.
Things that come with that, or do we want to live in the environment we live in now, where mankind is killing itself? People are not having children, and it's sickness and depravity, and children are.
I guess I somewhat agree with
humanity is killing itself. Humanity has been killing itself since like the dawn of humanity itself.
Oh yeah.
We had wars all the we don't have many wars now. We don't have like world wars and stuff now.
Yeah, I do agree that like the present, like there is some like the present day like degeneracy, but there's always like been like degeneracy like throughout, like, and also the time he's talking about like there were like shotgun marriages, like people were degenerate then, but they faced consequences for the degeneracy. I don't think there is as many like consequences now, which is the problem. So
what I don't even get, like, what do you mean? Like, I don't even understand like what do they mean by like degeneracy?
Well, I guess like out of wedlock births and like I think more like exposure of like sexual body parts.
So who cares? Like I genuinely don't think that's an issue.
It depends though. Like if like the society is like too like sex based and like doesn't like properly. Yeah, this will be like another debate. But like
it was not that
society is like way too like sexualized. Then it may like be irresponsible in like procreation and and it may like disrupt like families like raising their kids and like raising their kids is like one of the most.
I think the issue more than people being open about sex, not the fact that people are open about sex, it's like the main thing that's important is people to have good education about like safe sex. That's like the most important thing, right?
Yeah, I think
like talks about like safe, because like I honestly feel like preaching abstinence for like a long time isn't necessarily going to work, because people are horny. They want to have a lot of sex. They will have a lot of sex, some one way or another, right?
Well, whoever like follows
around
like abstinence, like I think that will be beneficial to them. If you don't want to follow it, then we'll deal with the consequences. But like of your actions.
I think the important thing is like teaching about like safe sex. There's nothing inherently wrong about being open about it. I think some degree of openness is good, because you can talk to people who like had like a lot of sex, maybe like a parent.
Yeah, when I mean like sexually open, I mean like physically sexually open. Like I don't mind like talking about it like in depth.
Being harmed and corrupted. I mean, I don't think it gets very much worse than where we are today, outside of some exceptional circumstances in history. So to me, that's really the real. It's about what kind of.
You do realize that in like older societies, you would like die at years. A lot of people would die at like 40 because of like medicinal problem. There was like straight up authorities. People would be massacred for going against their king, right? On like a human perspective.
Yeah,
Nick is so lucky not to be living in a society like people. What about like humanity's killing themselves and all? Like, again, like I said, like the world wars, people used to fight all the time. People never really realized the repercussion of war. They were just, oh, I declare. Have you heard the story of like how World War I happened? Like like countries just like, I declare war, and then the other countries like, I declare war, and now I declare war. They were just so hasty to like declare war. But then after like the world wars happened, they like realized like, yeah, this is not good. Like now like the war motive, we're living in like the safest time. Like the life expectancy is also like at an all-time high. We're living in like a very like a good birth rate. We also like the population is also good, because Nick Fuentes has a problem with population at the gym, right? Like in almost everywhere we're living in like the best era. We're like in the safest era. Also crime is at like very, very low from like a long period.
Yeah, by the way, like I'm pretty sure that I don't think like Toasted is like but I'm thinking like you know, like you, Rohan, and Toasted like could continue like the stream tomorrow like at a time, since you know like yeah, I don't think like you
Yeah,
three of us
you
can
should
like
also
do
come
it with
because
like
me
me,
and
and
you've
also
already
like
started.
and also I've got like you know exams and stuff, so I don't
Yeah,
mind
fair.
like sitting like tomorrow's. I'm thinking you guys do a stream tomorrow, like let's see, roughly maybe around like 2 or 3 p.m. No, 2 or 3 a.m. British Standard Time, around, since those are the times that you, Toasted, and like Rohan like are like you know around like
Yeah,
I think like that's around the time like Toasted like is like I don't know 12 p.m. for
yeah,
you.
that's actually a good time. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think maybe you should like discuss, and yeah, also I think I'd yeah, Toasted
I
like
think you
wanted
can
to like speak about something, and I actually wanted to speak about like the same thing. I will like speak to you like about it like after this stream ends. But wait, do you want to like you know end the like stream in like 10 minutes?
Yeah, sure, I don't mind.
Yeah,
I'm free at the moment, so yeah.
yeah, all right, yeah, okay.
For the country we want to live in.
Well, what I will say is that I agree with Nick on the sense that, yeah, when leftists get power, unlike what the conservatives do, they are full steam ahead, and they will punish their political enemies. They will rule over them, and I think it got that way, and that's just not really to my point, because of this long-term sort of infiltration process where they got basically hold of every single institution. And now we just kind of see it come into fruition more than what we've ever had, because we can see it. You know what I mean? So
Oh, actually, yes, I do agree with this like point with like young Ripper like but like you know I rather I think the way that you know conservatives fight is what like you know Ben Shapiro is like, and Daily Wire is doing, like you know fighting with like you know their own like version like of Hollywood, like right wing Hollywood, but like it's going to like take time,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
like make a video about like how like maybe conservatives like don't get monopolies. I
I mean,
guess
I don't even think like it's a matter of like, oh, they just infiltrate. I mean, there is probably like so I don't know if it's infiltration or, but like
yeah, it's
generally like
natural.
younger colleges are made up of like younger people, right? And like a lot
Yeah,
of these colleges are like in like what cities like New York and like these big cities which are generally more liberal because
yeah, like yeah,
they're
it's
generally more
natural
liberal because they have
basically.
like more first generation. So they by default, I get this idea that they're like attacked. I think it's just like a mindset difference. Now,
Yeah,
granted, they do go way too far sometimes, and that's really really cringe. That's also like a huge cultural thing that like I'm generally not. I'm very anti like woke culture and stuff like the PC political cancel culture shit. I'm not pro that at all. But like yeah, generally you can expect like these universities and like Hollywood and all to get like liberal. It's very unlikely. Like
yeah,
conservatives you mainly find in like what the center of America, like the center. The red states are usually primarily in like the center, like the, the yeah.
yeah. Wait, do you see like Toasted anywhere? Like
Let me just check. I don't know. Let me just check the Discord for a second. Let me just.
wait, so is he in
think
like is he in this?
I don't think it's. You can check if you want, but I don't think he's here. I don't
Okay.
see him. I don't. Yeah, I don't think he's online. So
Yeah, he's not. Yeah, he's not.
yeah. All right.
social media, technology, all of this connectivity. Where I differ is more so because I don't see the conservatives as okay wielding it and doing nothing. I think of it more as, to me, and maybe this is just through my lens, in that they ensure the power structure of leftists, and they set them up for success to then fuck us over. Let's call it what it is. And again, when I say punish their political enemies, I want to be direct and I want to be clear here. I see them as the direct enemy here, considering all the subcultures that I'm involved in, and they're controlled by leftists, and they've been running the bitch into the ground for as long as I've been alive. It's just been accelerated over certainly the last decade. But I would much rather, and going back to my original point of like pulling the rug certainly from under them, because yeah, I can understand that in at least in our lifetimes with government, it may be present in this geographical area. Is that going to be difficult to get away from? Potentially. However, I do think the scale of that can certainly change within our lifetimes. I do think that that's certainly achievable.
But I am saying that on the side note, you were noting because yes, we have special buttons and we can chat to each other on the show. Is that Sydney doesn't know anything about you, really. I mean, besides what she's heard on there, and she's like.
And I do want to say, like, I've said I do know many of your views on women, which I find abhorrent. I'm going to be honest. I don't agree with you on that front.
We all do. Or any reasonable
but I actually went into this reasonably, like, not really knowing your broader, views on things, and so I don't really have an opinion of you, if I'm honest. And so that's why, I mean, it's really funny. People are like, Sydney's really triggered. And I'm honestly just sitting here just listening and just, getting a feel for things. But I was saying to Elijah, it's interesting. I think you're being very respectful. And I think that's really
this was a surprise. This was somehow respectful. But
yeah, he's a woman hater, but like at least he's like civilized. A civilized woman hater.
Yeah.
Civilized and civilized.
Oh, that's the difference between him and like people in the and people in the men in the Middle East. He's civilized.
Because people make you out to be this, assassin that's going to just stab everybody in the face. And I think you are being very respectful, and you're obviously very polite in person. But dude, your followers are very interesting people.
Yes.
You don't have to defend them. My God, Sydney's. I don't know, for some reason Sydney seems like I don't want to get like too rude and stuff. Like Sydney, I think you're even allowed to be a bit confrontational. Like I understand you want to be like civil and stuff, but like you can at least be a bit more firm. You don't want to be like, well, I don't really want to be like, you don't have to. If this person Sydney would blow up a lot more, right? You can
that's
be
my problem with like the right and that like hypocrisy. Like they want to be like all hard, like bold, like against like people who say like Black Lives Matter and just respond with all lives matter, but then they just like cuck. They just want to say
you don't have to cuck for this man.
Like you need to pick one. Like either you're soft on both of these morons, or like you're confrontational and like bloodthirsty against both of them. Like I want consistency.
And not only that, you can be like a civilized convo, but you can be like more firm, right? There were moments where Sydney was being legitimately firm, and it was good, right? Because this guy needed to have his ass handed to him, because his views are like they're not even like a matter of like getting lectured or like proving wrong. This guy's views are abhorrent on like women. The way he thinks of them as like subhumans and all, it is disgusting. She should be a bit more firm. You can still be like civilized and treat them with like respect. But you can be. You don't have to kiss his ass. This guy's like a bigot. This guy's obviously like a bigoted asshole.
All right. Okay. Ooh, apparently I like 31 views with the Fuentes stream.
Really?
Yeah.
Let me check.
Well, apparently it'll be much less on like my public channel, according to like my YouTube account, like the app. Like apparently I'm at 31, but
okay.
Yeah. What does it say on like the public one?
It says 0 apparently. I think they went by.
Oh wait, that's 0 watching.
Yeah, 0 watching. I think I'm not sure.
Oh, okay. Well, it may say something like different on like my channel.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a bit weird that way.
Yeah. So I guess maybe like we'll finish in like 1 or 2 minutes.
Yeah, we can have like we can let them make one more point, I guess.
Yeah.
I find it interesting how you appear certainly one way in person, and I would say you're nice in person, and then in the chat I don't understand. Are you aware that your followers are like this?
Well, they're very animated, very enthusiastic. The thing is that the thing about our people, me and my followers, is that we are really oppressed in a big way. And so you really can't divorce this from how we are. I mean, when you take a look at my followers, the Groypers, or somebody like myself, I mean, we really have been treated unfairly by society. And, some people say, hey, your followers aren't very polite, or, they're very rowdy,
I think
or something
it's more
like
than
that.
Nick, though. I think that they, like, for example, they attack Elijah. They attack me personally. I don't think.
Here's the thing. I think people have been not pleasant to you in society because people think you're morally reprehensible for having the views you have, and they don't want to.
Like, also, this is like pretty like like a big victimhood, like culture, like
the left's victimhood. Yeah.
Yes, even Michael Davis himself has like this criticism of like PragerU, which like I somewhat agree, somewhat
it is 100%.
Like, even Michael 100% Davis on, like, but like I think like PragerU is pretty much hypocritical on like assuming, like,
oh my god,
and then like wanting like limited government, but
Yeah, Prager is 100% hypocritical on this. They're like, they always come in like, oh, the left is always like this victimhood or never promote victimhood. But they always yap about how like conservative censorship and all. It's so hypocritical. And they get like billions and billions of views anyway. So like,
yeah, like, it's I guess like there can be like problem with like censorship of conservatives, but like it's a bleeping social media company. Like it's not the end of the world.
yeah. And not only that, you're getting so many views anyway. Like, what is your problem? And the worst thing is like they're also hypocritical on the fact that they come like, oh, the left is indoctrinating with like children's books and all, and then they proceed to make their own children's book with their own views.
Well, I thought
Like,
it was a children's cartoon.
Oh yeah, something around that. But like general conservatives, a lot of conservatives.
I actually don't mind the children's cartoon as long as it isn't like too preachy. It depends on like the content.
Like if you're complaining about like children's media for like indoctrinating, quote unquote, like with the leftist agenda, and you have to like have that same principle when you're making the same cartoon, making the same
thing.
Like
PragerU was being pretty like hyperbolic with like it's
they
what was
don't
it like Lauren Chen? Like I do like cringe when like the books are like of like Democratic politicians. Like if they like I don't know, I don't want to be like too overt like and like introduce like kids to like political concepts early on, like maybe certain like political ideas, but they have to be a bit more like simplified and more like childified.
I don't even think introducing kids to politics like that young is even that good of a good idea. Just what is the best thing to do is like let them see the world for themselves how much they can. And when you're a parent, if you see like they're not going on like the right path or anything, like try to always challenge the view and get them to like the most like centrist kind of position ever. Like make sure that they don't get too extreme either way.
Yeah, I do
Make sure
think
they have
like
like reasonable.
a lot of like economically left ideas like are subconsciously like pushed in like a lot of like not only children's media, but, like media in general, but like that's more because of like where the writers are at. So if like PragerU is doing a bit more of a like economically right, I think that's much easier. Like the social
culturally right too.
Like I'm a little more like fussed about like promoting like in children's media, but like I don't know. I think like the economic stuff seems like a safe bet. Like don't be too overt. Like maybe PragerU might make some mistakes because it's like a bit more like new, like the way they're doing it. They're trying to be like mainstream, they think, but like
my issue is more on principle though. My issue is more on principle. Like you're criticizing, oh my god, the left has these books where they're promoting like drag queens and like promoting their leftist indoctrination agenda, and then your response is to do exactly the same thing that they're doing, and all like PragerU kids made for kids stuff, and it's so blatantly propagandized towards kids. The same propaganda that you criticize the left are doing. It's
well,
just
it depends on like the content. I need to like check the content. I think I think like the content is going to be economically right rather than like socially right. So,
I mean, I don't. But even then, like, why would kids understand economic right and economic left? Like, why would
but very like simplistic, like things like you hard work, like or
like fair. But like even then, right? You have to act on principle. This stuff does not even like politicized anyway. Anyway, I haven't really seen much of their stuff, but like they're generally quite hypocritical about these things. Anyway, I'll maybe change my mind after
I don't remember like seeing the. I don't remember the last PragerU video I watched. Anyway, like I think I want to like end the stream, but I do want to like talk to you for like maybe a few more minutes like after the stream. And so thanks everyone like for watching. I'm very like grateful for like all of you. Well, actually, let's just respond to like a few more like comments. Thanks for like a lot of the comments like massacration broadcasts.
People used to die almost from anything. It was insane. Yeah, basically. Society was like, especially a lot of times, society like random stuff would kill you. Now it still can, but like we generally live in a much safer society. Like
we
don't
I can't find the Buenos Dias meme anymore. I'm not.
Or is it something that was like
good afternoon? I think let's see, people used to die from so that message is removed from live chat too. Why are messages from live chat being removed? Okay, I don't know what that's about. For a moment, video copyrighted. I'm not sure what comments that
it's for the above video you posted, but like I don't I'm not entirely sure. I don't think it was copyright. I think I could see it.
Right. Okay, I'm confused now. But yeah, I hope I don't get like a copyright strike or anything. Like, I'm pretty sure like this falls on.
Are you even monetized?
Oh no, you have to be like have like 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 watch hours to be monetized.
Okay,
Yeah, it's a annoying system. Like when like actual Justice Warrior started, apparently you could like earn like after you reach a certain amount, like maybe $10, I think you could like cash out or something. But yeah, yeah. Thanks for. Oh, Petro San. Like no, that's some other guy. Petro San is different from Pedro Chan.
okay.
I don't even know who Petro San is, but like thanks for watching and commenting, and thanks yeah Ferris and like Dirty Wob for also like commenting and yeah I guess yeah I guess yeah we'll also like try and like maybe do a sequel stream, maybe hopefully on like Toasted's channel like tomorrow. I think I'll like send a link to it on Twitter like whenever you guys are having it. Well, probably like a few hours after you have it, since I'll be asleep by then. Yeah, guys, thanks for watching and see you later. Oh, and also I just posted my Hunter Avalon video, as well as my
I think we saw that.
Yeah, and also my lovely Cenk Uygur meme. Like I want
Cenk Uyghur's a Nazi. I saw that.
Yeah, I want my like Cenk Uygur meme to be like blow up, but
yeah, I think it can. It's a good meme.
Yeah.
If Cenk sees it himself and gets him together,
it'll
be funny.
Yeah, we'll see. I'll just like post it on the chat, the link.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So yeah, bye guys.
See you guys. Bye.
Yeah. Thanks, Connor, for being here, and bye.
Thanks for inviting me, Tarun. Sorry for speaking so much.
Yeah, that's fine.
All right.